There are some of you here who do not believe, Jesus said. This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless it is granted to him by my Father. Friends, if you want to see the parable of the sower illustrated to perfection, read John chapter 6, all 71 verses. It is the parable of the sower on full display. Why do some people believe and other people do not? And at the very end of it, Jesus makes it very clear, you cannot believe unless it is granted to you by my Father to believe. Like the Israelites who couldn't see the salvation of the Lord because he had not given them eyes to see it. And Jesus who says we cannot come to him unless it has been granted to us by his Father. So it is with the parable of the sower. Unless God gives us ears to hear, and we will never perceive the truth of Christ in the gospel and respond in faith. Here's the mystery. Here's the mystery. God commands us to hear, but we can't unless he gives us ears to hear. He commands us to see, but we can't unless he gives us eyes to see. He commands us to believe, but we can't unless he gives us hearts to believe. But yet, we are responsible for our unbelief. And friends, it is not enough just to chalk it up to say, well, yeah, but we have free will. We can't chalk this whole mystery up to free will, okay? Here's why. The shocking claims of these texts, and indeed the parable of the sower, cannot be explained by free will because it's not our will that's the problem. Brothers and sisters, it is not our will that's the problem. It is our heart that's the problem. The desire that emerges from our heart is what motivates our will to choose this or that. It is a desire that emerges from our heart to either reject Christ in stubborn unbelief or embrace him and submit to his lordship. And apart from God's regenerating grace that gives us new hearts to see the truth and the treasure of Christ, the seed of his word falls on the hard soil of our spiritually dead hearts, and we are left dead in our unbelief. And in our persistent unbelief, and here's the shocking truth of this passage that should scare us. In our persistent unbelief, hearing the truth of Christ only serves to further harden our hearts. Look at verse 12 again. To you has been given the secret of the kingdom of God, but for those outside, everything is in parables. Verse 12, so that. This is in the original language, we call these purpose clauses. There's two little words. Anytime you see a so that in the New Testament, you better circle that. Because the writer is about to explain the purpose. Why is the mystery concealed to unbelievers, to those outside, but to those to whom God has granted ears to hear, it is revealed to them in clarity. Why? What is the purpose? Verse 12, so that they, who? Those outside, they may indeed see, but not perceive. They may indeed hear, but not understand. Why? Folks, my heart is pounding just reading this text. They may indeed hear, but not understand, lest they should turn and be forgiven.